Previously, when we were setting up the NP36 or the Network Patroller profile on your BakPak account, we just finished doing a device discovery. Now that we have all of our devices discovered, we can do what we call an automatic network map creation. Some things to keep in mind: if for some reason you have changed the default username or password information for these devices, make sure you go into the actual device by clicking this Edit Device icon, and it'll have the username and the password. Update the information accordingly and then select the Update button, otherwise it will not allow it to auto map correctly. Okay, so again, make sure if you change the default username and password for any of your devices, just update that login information by selecting the Edit Device icon, type in the updated information, and then select Update. So if you click on this arrow right here to the right, it's going to take you to your auto mapping. So you can see all of the devices that it did discover on the NP36 profile. Now you're going to click on this icon to auto map your network. Now keep in mind, based on the amount of devices or the number of devices that are on your actual network itself, it should be at least 70 to 80% accurate in getting your devices auto mapped. Now when you're doing your auto mapping, the devices that it does support are your managed switches such as your AV switches and your SX switches with package models. It supports your W6, your W7, and your WK access points. It does not support your unmanaged switches, so if you did discover unmanaged devices or add unmanaged devices onto the network, you're going to want to add those manually if you wanted to remember where they were actually connected to on your network. So just something to keep in mind. So you'll notice here's your SX24P, has the IP address and the model there. And then you have your WK1 access point, same thing, it has the IP address and the model. And you're also able to see which port on each device that it's connected to. So on port 1 of the SX24P is the WK1. The WK1 just has the one LAN PoE port. If you look at your W7X, same thing. You have your IP address, the model. On your W7X, it just has the one LAN port. On your SX24P, you can see it's connected to port 4 on the switch. And on the rack link, you'll notice there's the IP address. Again, you have your LAN port for the rack link, and it's connected to port 3 on the SX24P. So the auto mapping helps you to know where your devices are connected to on the network without having to manually enter all the information in. Now you know where all the devices are connected to, and they are all connected to the SX24P switch. So if you wanted to add a device that did not get auto mapped to your network, all you need to do is look at that model. If you know which primary device it's connected to, you just want to drag it to that device. So I know that my P2 is connected to my 60D, and then it's going to give you the option to select, okay, on which port is it selected for each device. So on port 1 on my P2, because I have the one LAN port, I know this is connected to port 7 on my 60D. I'm going to save the port information, and that will add it to your map. And you can see it right here. This is the IP address, the model, and you see P2, port 1, 60D, port 7, and then you're ready to go. So again, just some information for you. The AutoMap network, as long as you have the updated username and password information, so if anything was changed from default, please be sure to edit that on the edit icon from the device discovery page. It does support your managed switches, so with package, there's your AV switches as well as the SX switches. It supports the W6, W7, and WK access points. With the unmanaged switches and devices behind unmanaged switches, they will definitely get detected, but they're just not going to be auto-mapped correctly. So they will sit on the side like you saw the initial devices before they were added to the network map. And if you wanted to connect them manually, you would need to drag and drop them to their primary device and then select the port numbers. Thank you for joining us today for your automatic network map creation on the new BakPak user interface.